Good morning, everyone. I am Govind Dhage, Assistant Professor at Sri Venkatesh Mahavidyalaya, Devulgaon Raja. Now, today we are going to discuss about the cellular respiration. Actually, respiration is the process in which chemical energy is get released in the form of ATP by using uh, glucose molecules. So, this cellular respiration involves multiple steps, just like in glycolysis, then Krebs cycle and electron transport chain. In that, all the processes, first, that is the glycolysis, in which glucose comes to the cell in cytoplasm, exterior to the mitochondria, and is get break down into the multiple different compounds, and it get released some of the energy in the form of ATP. Along with that ATP, it also produces the NADPH2 also. And after that, the glycolysis, that electrons will enter into the mitochondria, and that mitochondria will further proceed the Krebs cycle. That electrons will further useful for the chemical reactions which produces the ATP and NADH2 and FADH2 also. And these NADH2 FADH2 will produce, by using these NADH2 FADH2, cell can produce, mitochondria can produce multiple ATPs by the process of electron transport chain. Now, what happened? In that, first thing is that location. Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm. Then electron transport chain starts in the mitochondrial matrix. But what happened in between that glycolysis and electron transport chain? The electrons will be comes into the mitochondrial matrix, and that will be proceeds a Krebs cycle in that location. The NADH produced during the glycolysis must make its way into the mitochondria, but that NADH or that NADH could not be directly pass through the mitochondrial membrane. So that's why there is a different mechanism to transfer that electron from cytoplasm to mitochondrial matrix through the mitochondrial membrane. So it has different mechanisms. For example, electron shuttle means what? The electrons present in NADH comes and introduce into the mitochondrial matrix through the sum of the different compounds, and they can produce energy in the form of ATP by three different ways. For example, it can produce ATP by the substrate level phosphorylation, it can produce ATP by the oxidative phosphorylation, or third one is the photophosphorylation. So, how can the electron pass from cytoplasm to the mitochondrial matrix? There is an electron shuttle system. Which type of electron shuttle systems are there, and why they are necessary? Because in the electron shuttle, NADH produced in a glycolysis must be transported from the cytoplasm into the mitochondria to enter the electron transport chain. Mitochondria is not permeable to NADH produced in the cytoplasm because there is a barrier of a mitochondrial membrane which could not be allow directly NADH to enter inside the mitochondria. So that's why shuttling of NADH is indirect. Means what? NADH, electron of NADH should be accepted by another molecule, and that molecule can enter, which molecules can enter from cytoplasm to interior to that of the mitochondrial membrane, and that molecule will then further will gives that electron to the another molecule, and which can be usable to the Krebs cycle inside the Krebs cycle. So electron shuttle are having the two shuttle mechanisms. One is the glycerol phosphate shuttle, and another one is the malate aspartate shuttle. What happens normally in that glycerol phosphate shuttle, the NADH will gives an electron to the glycerol phosphate, and it will go inside the mitochondrial matrix, and also it can convert into the NADH also. And then second one is the malate aspartate shuttle. What happens in the malate aspartate? Before that, we are going to discuss about the glycerol phosphate shuttle. In the glycerol phosphate shuttle, in brain tissue and skeletal muscle tissues, results in FADH2 in the matrix. The two electrons from NADH is get shuttled into the mitochondria and becomes a part of FAD and to become a FADH2. So there may be a question arise just like why the FAD is necessary in that shuttle? Because the mitochondrial membrane are not allowed NADH to directly pass from the cytoplasm to mitochondrial matrix. So that's why it's necessary that the cell should be proceed a glycerol phosphate shuttle. The second one, malate aspartate shuttle. In some other parts of our body, they would proceed a malate aspartate shuttle. In the liver, kidney, heart, results in NADH in the matrix. Two electrons from NADH get shuttled into the mitochondria and become a part of NADH to become a NADH2. So, I have described or I have mentioned in that diagram, you can see that how malate aspartate shuttle is get proceed, how the electron from NADH2 is get convert or is get combined with the malate. It will pass into the matrix, and that malate will convert into the aspartate by accepting the electron from NADH and convert into the NAD, or NAD is get converted into the NADH, and so that this electron transport chain is get proceeds. So next is these are the basically as two shuttle systems to carry the electrons from the cytoplasm to inside the mitochondrial matrix. Now next thing is that by using all these things, how can the cell produces the ATP? There are two ways to produce the ATP, or we can say that two methods of ATP synthesis. The first one is the substrate level phosphorylation, and the second one is the oxidative phosphorylation. What happens in the substrate level phosphorylation? In the substrate level phosphorylation, directly energy is get released from the one of the steps in that cellular respiration, in the any steps, for example glycolysis and the Krebs cycles, and then that electrons will be directly utilized to produce a ATP. This is known as a substrate level phosphorylation, or we can say that it is a direct phosphorylation by which ATP is get synthesized. And the second is the oxidative phosphorylation, not a photophosphorylation. So in that oxidative phosphorylation, what happens? The energy which is stored in the NADH2 or FADH2 will be released, and they get utilized and will produces the ATP in the sequential manner, where the electrons is get transferred from one carrier to another carrier, which is are of a proteinaceous carrier. So how two methods of ATP synthesis? One is the substrate level photophosphorylation, as I mentioned in our early slides. Now this is mentioned in these slides also. It has described in the substrate level phosphorylation, direct ATP formation through the phosphate transfer from the substrate to ADP occurs in a glycolysis and Krebs cycle. No doubt, obviously, it should be occurs in a glycolysis and Krebs cycle, and before the electron transport system, those ATP synthesized are of a substrate level phosphorylation, and those ATP are formed in the electron transport chain known as the oxidative phosphorylation. Means what? They are the indirect ATP formation through the redox reactions involving the O2 as a final electron acceptor driven by the electron transport chain. Okay. Next, substrate level phosphorylation. What about the substrate level phosphorylation? As shown in this slide, there should be enzyme, there should be substrate, there should be a ADP along with their substrate which is having a phosphate. The enzyme will combine with the substrate. The substrate will give an phosphate which is an inorganic phosphate or organic phosphate, and that will be attached to the ATP will produce as an adenosine triphosphate. Next, oxidative phosphorylation, which I have mentioned in our earlier slides. Oxidative phosphorylation involves two processes that occurs on the inner mitochondrial membrane and produces the ATP. Electron transport chain overview. The electron transport chain removes the energy stored in the NADH and FADH2 molecules, moves the protons against its concentration gradient, creating a proton gradient across the inner mitochondrial membrane. Final electron acceptor is oxygen, and which is converted into the water molecule, that is H2O. All the reactions are the redox reaction. Thank you.